Good Sunday evening, everyone, and welcome to He Carries Me Over Ministries Incorporated. We were founded on John 3:16 and John 3:17, God's salvation plan for everyone. He did not send His Son into this world for a select few, but for everyone. Whosoever believes in Him shall not perish, but have an everlasting life. Whosoever. It doesn't say a select few. It says whosoever, meaning everyone. Prayers tonight goes out to Molly, whose mother-in-law died yesterday. Sometimes people and in-law is just as important as a parent. I know mine was. Prayers for Judy, prayers for Jeff and Manny, prayers for David. He hurt his neck somehow, and he complains that he has numbness in his arm. That to me, David, sounds like a pinched nerve or a vertebrae in the neck. The reason why I say that, back in 2007, me and Bob was moving, and I helped Bob pick up a TV. And I heard a crack as loud as a gun. And what happened right there in the neck, there's 3 vertebrae that got out of whack. And your symptoms are the same as mine is at that time. I find something warm on the back of the neck. We'll take care of that. But you've got some vertebrae back there that you got out of whack. Prayers for Dawn, D-A-W-N. I've known her since 88, 89, where we used to work together at a Pizza Hut. Got word yesterday that she had died. She had a rough life for the last 11, 12 years. One of her children got burned up in a house fire. Her husband kills himself. Dawn just had a rough life there for the last 11 years, so do remember her. Prayers for Judy. And let's just pray for each other, people. Pick out your name on He Carries Me Over and pray for that person. And that person, just pick out you some names there on He Carries Me Over, the list, and just pick out you somebody and start praying for them. Wonderful. Tonight's message is dedicated to Teresa Bell, Diane McKinney, and Mary Ann Taylor. It's dedicated to their memory. So let's take all this to the Lord in prayer. Amen. When you think of a fairy tale, or I know when I think of a fairy tale, I think of Cinderella meeting her Prince Charming. I think of Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, Alice in Wonderland. I think of writings by Hans Christian Andersen, who remains the father of fairy tales. Sadly, some parents raise their children on believing that the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, and Easter Bunny are true. Why Jesus is a fable, only a fairy tale. You want to know about the real Prince Charming? The real Santa Claus who gives gifts? The real Easter Bunny who brings spring weather and makes everyone smile? Get to know that man from 'Who calmed the waters on the Sea of Galilee, who walked the Sea of Galilee, who walked along the hills of Calvary, and died upon that cross for you and me. He is the true Prince Charming, the true one. But before we get into the message, I'm going to say this on myself. I'm going to tell on myself. I used to be a big believer in fairy tales. Kiss a frog, the Prince Charming will come. I remember sneaking out to the swamp, getting a frog, kissing him, putting the frog back into the water, and in the side of 5 minutes he went belly up. And I thought, well, that's the way it does. And then Prince Charming comes by. 1 week, every day, I went out to check on my frog. There he was, belly up. The last day I went out, a big snake was eating my frog, and I thought, well, okay. My Prince Charming never come. The only thing I ended up with was slimy lips and a wart on the nose. Then I just had to find out if brooms do fly, you know. So I took the broom on top of the house, jumped on the broom, and jumped off the house. The only fun thing I found that day, 15-foot drop, going at 90 miles an hour, you're going to get a slam in the backside like you never got before. Brooms do not fly. But you're going to wind up with one slam in the rear end. Children can be deceived by fairy tales. They can be deceived with them. But of course, I was 25 when I kissed a frog, 31 when I fell out of the tree, and 32 when I jumped off the house. I just had to find out. No, brooms don't fly. Frogs do not turn into princes. A prince. I learned the hard way. But now get back to the Bible. A lot of people believes it to be a fairy tale. Some will say it's not a fairy tale, but it's too man-made, which I would go for that. Yes, in a sense of the word, it is too man-made. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But let's stay on this fairy tale. My mother one time said, the Bible does contradict itself. You read in one book about a certain verse. 5 books from there, it will be the same verse, worded different. Sure, the Bible does contradict itself. There are things in the Bible that don't need to be in there, but it's all we got. It serves as a roadway, a roadmap to heaven. Without it, we would have never known about God and Jesus. We would have never known without the Bible. It serves as a roadmap to heaven. People, it's all that we know. It serves as that. Now get back to the fairy tale. It is not a fairy tale. My God and my Jesus is not a fairy tale. To dub the Bible as a fairy tale, you're saying God is a fairy tale, Jesus is a fairy tale. These same people say that they do not hear the voice of God, but yet they can hear the voice of Satan. And if God is a fairy tale, then so is Satan, because Satan is in this Bible that I'm holding right here on my lap. If it is a fairy tale, then it makes Satan a fairy tale. Right? Yes. This Bible is not a fairy tale. It is not a fairy tale. Inside of its pages, in the Old Testament, It tells about wonderful works that God did for his people, like leading them out of the land of Egypt to the promised land, the land of Canaan. It tells wonderful works that he did throughout the Old Testament. It tells us in the New Testament how he sent his Son to guide us out of darkness. Is this a fairy tale? No. But I would agree with some. The Bible is too man-made. For 35 centuries, 3 millenniums plus 500 years, the Bible has been changed, and it's going through a change right now. In 2030, it's going to be changed. Why does man change the word of the Lord? To satisfy themselves. To satisfy themselves. The Bible tells us that God is the God of yesterday, today, and forever. His word is going to stand. When this old world is on fire, his word will stand. But man's got to change his word to make it to satisfy themselves, which is not of God. This is of Satan. Satan is the great deceiver, deceiving many in believing that the Bible is not true, but a fairy tale. That is Satan deceiving people. That is Satan deceiving. And if you want to listen at that voice, you go right on ahead. But how can you listen at that voice when you say it's a fairy tale? Satan too is a fairy tale. Is it? No. God is real. Jesus is real. Satan is real. This Bible is real. It's not a fairy tale. But man changes the words in it to satisfy themselves. 900 AD, the birth of Islamic came through Palestine and the areas around, which is now known as Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt. This Bible, if you even had it around you, you could have been murdered. The Bible was hidden in caves. The Bible as we know it was hidden in caves. People had to flee from this. The Christian people had to flee from this. They hid the Bible in caves because if you were found with it, you were murdered. Hundreds of years later, this book was found in caves. But it had to be smuggled through Germany to even get to you. Germany. The Bible carries some German words in there, German slang, German phrases, such as the mark of the beast. That word is not in the Bible. That comes from Germany. The Trinity. That word's not in the Bible. But it meant the three. But the word's not in the Bible. That is a German phrase that comes from Germany. A lot of it's in the Bible that is not of the Middle East. It comes from Germany. Because the Bible had to be smuggled through Germany to get to you. This Bible came smuggling through Germany to get to you. The King James Version of the Bible, there was a Bible before that and a Bible before that one. But the King James Version is the only Bible that I really know. I know the rest of them, but the only one I trust is the King James Version. King James was a king that loved the company of men. Why did he have his name put on the Bible? A book that condemned. Did the book condemn before that? Men changes the words of the Bible to satisfy them, themselves, people. They change it to satisfy themselves. What was in the Bible? What was in the original Bible that was hidden in the caves? We may never know. There are 330 books that was written during Jesus' time. Some of those never made the Bible. They were banned from the Bible. I read the book of Judas. I read the book of Mary Magdalene. They never made the Bible. Why? We'll talk about that later. But these books were banned from the Bible when this book was put together. But it's all we got, people. It serves as a roadway to heaven. Without it, we would have never known. We would have never known about God and Jesus without this Bible. Now I know what some will say. Well, I learned it from my mother. Where would your mother learn it from? Well, she learned it from her mother. Somewhere down the line, they had to have the Bible to know about it. Because right out of the blue, that's something you'll never know. You had to read the Bible and get to know it in order to tell about it. Yeah, you did. If you want to know, just like I said at the beginning of this, the real Prince Charming, Santa Claus, who gives gifts, and the Easter Bunny, who brings on spring and makes people smile. Get to know Jesus Christ, the true one. Get to know him. Amen. I hope this week finds you in good health. And I hope the Lord blesses you so much that you have to tell others about the blessings and where they come from. I hope each and every one of you has a safe week. Join us next Sunday with a message titled Peanut Butter. And I thought, Lord, what do you want me to say about peanut butter? He showed me what to say. And then coming after that is popcorn. These messages that you will hear this month, some of them will be repeated during the revival on May the 13th and May the 20th. May God bless each and every one of you and have a safe, happy week. Until next week.